Hey all, and welcome back. This video is for you if you want to talk about what needs to happen to make Artrage the best painting app on desktop, on mobile, on everything. I'm a big fan of Artrage, and there's been a lot of releases that have come out recently, but this video is going to talk about the things that need to happen in the future to make it the best possible app. I want to tell you my list, and I want to hear your list. So make sure to throw that down in the comments. I know a lot of you guys are passionate about digital art and passionate about Artrage or passionate about Rebel or Procreate or Photoshop or whatever. And we all want the best stuff. And we want more than the horse race, like our guy to be the winner. We want just good tools to use, and a big piece of that is just kind of having those conversations. So this video is one that I've been wanting to have for a while. If you're into this kind of stuff, if you're into my channel and you like watching these videos, please do all the liking and subscribing kind of thing to help people find my channel. But this video is going to be a fun one because I think a lot of the chat in the comments already turns into this. And so I just felt like it was time to make a dedicated video to focus on this. I have one quick announcement before we get to that, and that is I have 2 portrait-focused lessons coming out. One with Let's Face It 2022. That's a Kara Bullock art teaching experience that I'll be sharing with you with some giveaways and stuff in the weeks to come. And then also one with Domestika that is a Photoshop focused portrait lesson. So one in Artrage, that's with Kara Bullock, and then the other one with Domestika is going to be Photoshop focused. But both of them teaching kind of my approach to portraiture in 2 different apps with 2 different focuses, but all of it my style. And so hopefully you'll keep an eye out for that. But let's go ahead and get down to the focus of this video. You and I know, and especially if you've seen my videos or you play with these apps, that the most recent Artrage Vitae updates on mobile and desktop have both been useful, they've been good, and they've been performance and platform updates more than they've been feature or painting updates. And so while I appreciate those updates have to happen. They have to find a way to get their application on different stores in front of different audiences. They have to update the whole engine so that it can work with all the criteria of Apple and Microsoft and how they do business, and all of that stuff. Huge amounts of work. Huge amounts of engineering updates into making the app work better to allow us to have brushes that are at 800% and canvases that are at 32,000 pixels or whatever it is now. That stuff is huge, and it's not trivial. The co-op painting, the tile painting, all the kind of things that are in this update for Artrage Vitae or Artrage like 6.5 or 7 or whatever it is, those are real, they matter, and they're good. But the things that I want as a painter, of course I like the performance updates. Of course I like how they make my custom brushes work better. Of course I like that stuff. But the things that I really want looking forward to Artrage in the future, I want Artrage to be the best possible app it can be. And there are a couple things that I just wanted to talk about regarding that. Without being more wordy, let me get into my list. Number 1, I look at Artrage as an oil painting simulation app because its oil painting is so fantastic. And the other tools are not as fantastic. So I never go to Artrage as my drawing app. I never go to Artrage as my watercolor app. I never go to Artrage as my chalk pastel app. I go to Artrage as my oil painting app. And because I'm an oil painter, I find that I use Artrage a lot. But I would love to see the brush engine in all its amazing variety and depth and complexity start to work at leveraging itself towards making the watercolors better, firstly, making the pencil and charcoal better, secondly. Those are huge. And I would love to be able to use Artrage as my primary sketching app, where right now I use Procreate as my primary sketching app, especially when I'm on iPad. I just love the dry media tools in Procreate. They just feel so good. I mean, I can draw with some stuff that, like some of the brushes that they have, it just feels like almost like an etching. It's such a crisp, beautiful line, right? So I love that. Well, Procreate can't touch Artrage in terms of oil painting. It can't touch it in terms of wet media. It can't touch it in terms of mixing and blending, right? But it's very good at that drawing. I think Artrage has some real room to grow with, to make its pencils and charcoal and chalk and oil pastel, like all of that kind of stuff better and to make it on the level of Artrage. So that's something that definitely I would love to see happen. Similarly, I think the watercolor tool sets are pretty limited. There's not enough range in the brush creator. Like, you know how in the oil painting tools, you have that huge range of options. We have all these different sliders and you can change the shape of the brush head and the loading and all kinds of things, depth and gloss. And I mean, just, it goes on, aspect, rotation, all of that needs to be in the watercolor as well. It has got to, and there has to be more texture brushes and brushes for like flicking splatter paint on and doing resists and all kinds of things. Like the wet on wet mixing is great, but they got to build on it and they've got to flesh it out in the same way that the oil painting is fleshed out. So I guess that's 1 and 2. 1 and 2 is that watercolors, and then pencils and charcoal. The other thing I'd like to see is in my number 3 is I'd love to see more transform options. I'd like to see a more robust ability to, especially on mobile, to like select and transform different parts of layers and different pieces of your drawing. That's something that I feel like has just got to be there in a modern painting app, even on mobile. It's pretty important. And I think that's a definite one on my list. Another one that I would add is I think it would be really great to refresh the UI a little bit. I don't mind the neon green, whatever the color scheme is fine, but I do think it would be time to modernize the UI. I know they have that like the icons and graphics, they look like paint tubes and paintbrushes and palette knives and erasers and stuff. And I'm not saying they should change that, but I do think to clean it up, sharpen it up, make it more modern and sleek would be kind of cool. And also try to find ways to, I feel like the app does a great job with decluttering things. But maybe some of the icons need a new image, like the one that's the little footprint that for the stamps. I think that could be a different sort of image, and I understand that the app needs to be appealing to like little kids and also like old people, right? It's the whole range of humans and their appetites for the visuals in this art app. But I feel like the little black feet walking, like little footprints is a strange one. I would love to see just little things like that would be great. I also think when you get into the presets on like the brush designer or on the stamp tool, I would like to see that cleaned up too and have it be more prioritized towards art making stamps. Like there's like the little baubles and dice and flames and just all the little stamps that you can use. And they feel kind of like clip arty, and I would like to see, while that stuff's there, and I don't know anyone that uses it, but I'm sure somebody does. I don't know. There are things in there that aren't clip arty. They're really like brush painting app oriented stamps, and those I'd like to see prioritized, and the kind of like cheeky stuff, the playful stuff, kind of put in its own little bin and not mixed with the other stuff. So I think some of that just goes in with the UI about modernizing it. So that's my top 4 is watercolors, all the dry media, pencil, pastel, etc., and then the UI, and then what was the other thing I said? Oh yeah, transform options. So especially on mobile. So that's my top 4 list. And then if I was to have like one more thing, I guess I would like to see also some new paper textures or canvas textures, or maybe like I don't know, just some more things that, people who've been using the app for a long time, that they can just jump in and play with it. Cause it's like, we've been using the same all awesome stuff forever, but it'd be fun to just see some new things. As you open up all these different little panels that you've opened up for however many years, you just find new stuff. So I think in a way, like some surprises for the old folks, and then maybe some more depth for the new folks there. So that's my top 5 list. I wonder what your top 5 list is. I hope that Artrage continues to develop and grow, and I have every confidence that it will. Every time I open it up, I see new cool things happening, and I know that that the team out there is working really hard, and I trust that there's going to be a lot more cool stuff to play with in the months and years to come. So let's cross our fingers for what's coming next. And I really want to see in the comments what you would have to say are your, top things on your wish list. Thanks for checking out this video. This is painted in Artrage on the desktop on a PC using the oil brush and then my custom brushes in the end, and had a heck of a lot of fun painting with this. And I'll talk to you more about portraits in the weeks to come, and keep an eye out for that and a bunch more. Thanks so much, and take care.
美味しいものを食べるために私はこの町まで来たわけじゃない。私が私でいるため。